Commence primary ignition.
Hey there, friends, fans, and collectors. Welcome to another episode of Binary Sunset News. It's been a while since we last spoke, but there is so much to go over. There have been 2 digital conventions, one big Hasbro Pulse one upcoming in this next month, and a bunch of pre-orders to look forward to down the road, close down the road, and some being delivered to our door in the next couple of weeks. Let's jump on in. Before I begin, I want to remind everyone to hit the subscribe button below. That way you'll stay on the forefront of the best Star Wars news and reviews as soon as I make them. We have just kicked off our convention season, and there are so many pre-orders out there, especially with the digital San Diego Comic-Con. Now, Lucasfilm 50th is launching so much greatness this year. It's given us great packaging, really great dives into some Star Wars Legends figures, as well as honoring some past Star Wars 375 figures with Black Series equivalents. They are continuing to do this. We received our first wave of Walmart exclusives, with the second one coming in the next couple weeks. And the pre-orders keep going. They keep on coming. There's also the gaming greats out there that I got my pre-orders canceled, I believe, and I have not been able to get my hands on. I have some coming late down the road, but those of you who have them, let me know in the comments below. How are they looking? They look amazing. I can't wait to see these figures. And we are just really getting some more great expansions in the Vintage Collection figures in the next couple months. A lot of news to cover in a little bit of time. This weekend wraps up the Target Collector Con, and this week heads into or starts, I'm not 100% sure, the Walmart Collector Con. These conventions are held by the actual stores themselves, and they're a great avenue for them to display their new pre-orders. First up, we have the Walmart Collector Con, which we had last year. Digital always, but this one, it seems to also be digital, but it doesn't seem to be kind of at a same date. It started last week, it's going into this week, it might be continuing to go, but it launched with some pretty amazing Vintage Collection Lucasfilm 50th Star Wars figures. Now, these are in the 375 scale, the Vintage Collection, which is really exciting, and to make them even more exciting, these are honoring legacy Star Wars anime, the 2D Microseries, the Genndy Tartokovsky Clone Wars, the first animated Clone Wars. It is honoring this series by having there be anime card backs for revamped Vintage Collection figures that we had either previously seen or are brand new. Because I think the brand new one is the red battle droid. But I'll go over these. These are 6 brand new figures, all exclusive to Walmart. Many of them are still up for pre-order. There are 2 that are not right now, but these were kind of soft launched. This convention started off with a soft launch of these figures honoring the Genndy Tartokovsky Clone Wars 2D Microseries. Now, these originally aired in 15-minute segments, and you can now find them completely on Disney+, which is amazing, in 2 volumes. But they were a really fabulous deep dive into some really amazing Clone Wars action and even backstory. Now, these figures that they're honoring, there are 6 new figures, all in the Vintage Collection. These are amazing card backs that come straight out of the Genndy Tartokovsky anime. The stylized art form of these figures really is great, and especially because we're not getting the art stylized figures actually in the bubble. So in the bubble, we're getting Vintage Collection quality, Vintage Collection articulation and accessories figures, which is incredibly exciting. Because even though we've seen some of these figures, some of them are completely new sculpts for the Vintage Collection and for this release. Starting off with the Vintage Collection, we have Captain Fordo. Now, this is the Clone Arc Captain. We had previously seen a really coveted Vintage Collection version of him. And for those of us who have them, I'm happy to say that it's a different card back. It's a newly designed figure, probably with better arm articulation. And he doesn't have the Phase 2 helmet, the Phase 2 armor. Now, these are all pretty alpha images, so we don't know if they're going to be the end game. But I'm glad that there's some variation. I hope we still have the removable helmet, because he has a unique little mohawk and just a really great figure. I'm very happy we're going to be getting another version of him, but definitely one of my favorite Vintage Collection figures and one of the more hard to find ones out there. Now, we're also, what would the captain be without some more of his ARC troopers? So we are getting a vintage collection ARC Trooper. We have never gotten a blue or a lieutenant ARC Trooper in the vintage collection as far as I can tell. We've pretty much only gotten Fordo, which is the ARC Commander, in the Expanded Universe card back. But this is really exciting because actually the versions that we have with the light blue that we're actually seeing in the Microseries have notably horrible poor articulation. Fantastic finds because they came in a battle pack that was a Toys R Us exclusive that went with the gunship itself, but amazing that we're going to be getting a newer figure design with this with some proper articulation. Going down the line, next we're going with the Jedi. So we have Luminar Unduli. Now, she is an amazing Jedi. She's seen translated to a different capacity in Filoni's Clone Wars, but in the original Clone Wars and in the comics, she and her Padawan are defenders of Ilum, which is the planet where they mine the Kyber crystals for the Jedi's lightsabers. No. She and her Padawan are defenders of the planet Ilum, which are... Take two. Now, Luminar Unduli and her Padawan Barriss Ophi are both getting Vintage Collection releases. Barriss actually previously had a Vintage Collection release. I don't believe Luminar Unduli ever has, so this is her premiere Vintage Collection. It's really exciting because even though both of them were translated into Filoni's Clone Wars, originally in the Star Wars Legacy and in the Clone Wars animated series, they had completely different backstories. Now, they were defenders of Ilum, which was the planet where Jedi mined their Kyber crystals. So there was a whole kind of spiritual aspect to them. It was a really cool part in the actual anime, and I'm just really happy that we're going to be getting some Jedi that just have backstory both for Legacy and for Disney canon. It's also nice that we're going to be getting some more commanders to stand in front of my clone boys here so we can have some more lightsabers up in the air, which is exciting. But next on our list, we have one of the more famed Jedi commanders. She did get a Vintage Collection release previously, and it is really, really hard to come by. I'm talking about our famous blue Twi'lek, Aayla Secura. What an amazing Jedi, and the noted leader of the Star Corps. So my yellow boys are looking for some leadership here. I actually never got her original release, so I'm really excited to be adding her to my collection. Last but not least, we have another release for the Battle Droid. This is on a new card back, and it also looks like it's a completely different shade. Now, the Battle of Mutalisk was one of the first battles of the Clone Wars, and they had similar red-shaded Geonosian battle droids, but they gave them a kind of different tint with almost like a lighter clay red color. He looks great. I can't wait to add him to the collection. As much as I like variations in clones, I really also appreciate battle droid variations, and it's great to have some different colored battle droids added to our vintage collection. Changes to the previous releases. Now, the ARC Commander, usually the Captain Fordo has his unique pistols. They're these very, very special, kind of large, almost silenced looking DC-17s, but he was the only one who ever carried them. Now the ARC, it looks like that's just the ARC Blaster now, and because the ARC Captains are also, the guys in blue, they're also carrying the same pistols. So I mean, they didn't want to do another design. The ARC Troopers had a very famed rifle that was actually like a Mandalorian rifle in Legacy, and it's seen with the original figures. It's actually the one thing they did right in the 375 figures, is they had the rifle down. So we're not getting them with these figures. It's a real disappointment. It's really, really upsetting to me. I certainly will be outfitting my new ones with the Mars rifle, as we see here. These figures look amazing. There's soft goods all around, everywhere there could be. Now, these all went out for a soft pre-order. So a lot of them are still up for pre-order, but the ARC Troopers right now were not. They weren't officially launched, so the convention is still ongoing, and hopefully they're going to be re-upped again. But I am going to put the links down there. Be sure to check the links. We got 3 new Black Series figures also tied to the Genndy Tartokovsky Clone Wars series, and that first one would be Mace Windu. We're not quite sure. They actually don't have images of these figures yet for us. They just have blown up images of the cartoon themselves. So we're not sure what they're going to look like, but Next up after that is the ARC Trooper Commander. He's getting a Black Series release also, which is going to be neat. And after that, we're also getting a General Grievous. Now, General Grievous in this animated series was much, much badder than he was in Episode 3. And it just, I don't know what this figure's going to look like, but it's going to be cool. Now, unfortunately, because these were all soft pre-ordered, the Black Series are all, as of now, sold out. So now you guys know Walmart, it's weird looking, it says pre-orders available, well then it says sold out, and every once in a while they go live and you can pre-order them. So definitely, I'm going to put all the links below. A certain number of them are definitely sold out by now, a huge lot of them are not, but definitely keep watching those links because they do go live. They do go live every once in a while, and especially because this is an ongoing convention for this next couple days that Walmart's trying to honor. I'd have my eyes peeled and definitely be checking those links. Next up, we have the Target Collector Con. Now, we had much, much less new releases for this. We actually have 3 new figures. They are an expansion to the Carbonized collection, which we have been seeing for the last year or so. And these are 3 new figures that are, well, they're not new figures. These are 3 new glossy paint job figures that are exclusive to Target. That being first, the Pre-Vizsla, which is the heavy infantry Mandalorian as he was first initially labeled. We're getting a sparkly new paint job for this figure, as well as an introduction of the Phase 4 boxing, because this guy wasn't in it when he was first launched. Next up, we have the Scout Trooper. Now, he is also sporting a shiny new paint job and first seen now in the Phase 4 boxing. Finally, the last shiny trooper we have is a Shore Trooper. Now, these guys were first seen in Rogue One, and it's great that they're getting extra launches because even though we have seen them actually a couple times in the Black Series, they're actually pretty hard to find, and they go for pretty pricey amount on the secondary market. These are going to be great figures. All 3 of these figures are exclusive to Target. I would definitely recommend these figures. The carbonized figures are cool, but the exclusives, the Lucasfilm 50th to the Clone Wars, the Genndy Tartokovsky Clone Wars, are amazing, amazing dives. Great homages to Star Wars Legacy, and some really, really cool collectibles that'll be really great to have on shelf or at a box added to your collection. Most important thing to note about this weekend of store collector conventions is that they're also reissuing a lot more of their exclusives that we've been seeing in the last year or so. So they had conventions last year, they've had exclusives in the last year or so that have been hard to come by, that have been really cool, that a lot of people haven't had the chance to get their hands on. And a lot of these are being reissued, a lot of these pre-orders are now up. I'm going to put some of the pre-orders that I know are hot to death below, so click through those, but I'm talking about all the Cobra Island figures at Target. A lot of them are now available for pre-order or going to be up again for pre-order. I'm talking about a lot of the Walmart retro G.I. Joes. Thanks for watching another episode of Binary Sunset News. As always, I've been Mike. It's been too long. I'll make sure it's not that long again. But thanks for tuning in. Stay safe, stay sane, and remember, the Force will be with you, always.
I'm just a simple man trying to make my